Hi, this is nurse attorney Nick Webb, and I'm joined by my partner in crime, Cindi Vokey. Today, we're going to be giving a little bit of a tutorial on what happens when a board investigator might visit your place of business. In this particular case, a med spa. And the reason that we're doing this is we want to show some things that you can look out for as a nurse, nurse practitioner, PA, or even as a physician to keep yourself out of legal hot water. So as we're going through this, please remember that this is strictly theoretical. It's hypothetical. This is not legal advice, but this is just an exercise and some continuing education for you that we'll discuss when we have our total practice partners meeting. So we would encourage you to join this. We'll also be posting this online. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get going with our skit. This is not meant, by the way, to portray any individual or any group of people. So with that, today, I'm Mr. Investigator. I'm going to be coming from the Department of Consumer Affairs in California, which is kind of the regulatory umbrella arm of the Board of Vocational Nursing, which oversees nurse practitioners and nurses. And what I'm doing today is I was looking at medical spas, doing some investigating and sleuthing, if you will, on the internet. And what I did is I came across this newly opened med spa in the Valley called Nurse Med Spa with Miss Nurse Med Spa LLC. So I've decided, because I have the power to do this as we frequently do with the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Board of Nursing, and yes, this actually does happen. It's not meant to scare you. I'm going to go ahead and visit Nurse Med Spa. So knock, knock, knock. This is Mr. Investigator. Here's my badge to let you know that I'm official. And yes, they will actually show your badge, and sometimes they'll actually flash their gun at you. I'm from the Department of Consumer Affairs, the Special Investigations Unit with the Board of Nursing. I'm here to ask you some questions about your med spa. Is that okay?
Hi, Mr. Investigator. Sure. How did you come on in? I can show you around. What questions do you have, and how did you know I have a new med spa?
Well, I found you online. I saw that you were advertising on Google, but in particular, you had some things on Instagram and on Facebook, which I found really interesting. And we just had some questions because we want to make sure that we keep the public safe, because that's really important. So can you tell me maybe a little bit about your med spa and what you do here?
Sure. Well, I recently opened, as you can see, my new sign. I've spent a lot of money,
Very nice.
opening my new place. And, I signed up with a company. I think I paid $3,500, and they helped me launch my med spa. So I thought, that was amazing. And the company's provided me with pretty much everything. They helped me find my location. They gave me a medical director. I have his name. I forget what it is. And I know we're in California, but he has a med spa in Kentucky or Colorado, something like that. But I can find it and show it to you. They do a lot of this treatments, and they know exactly what they're doing. So the company
is he around? Is he around? Can I talk to him? When's the last time he's come in?
Oh no, he hasn't come in. But I can get you his number.
I'm just writing that down, pardon me. So okay, interesting. Okay, thank you for that. I noticed on your website, it was a really snazzy website, right? It sounds like you got a really good deal for only $3,500. But I noticed that there wasn't really any medical director on the website that you had. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. The company helped me make my marketing materials, and I kind of put it in their hands because they said that they could set me up with everything. So I never had an attorney look at anything or review documents. But as far as my medical director on my website, I can make sure I add him.
Okay, well, that's good. Appreciate that. Thank you. So I was reviewing your information on the Secretary of State's website, and that is public information for the most part, by the way, so I'm sure you know that. Sure, the company,
Oh,
of course, told you that. And
well,
the other thing I noticed is, it doesn't look like everything's up to date. There's not an updated statement of information on there. And it looks like when they set up your corporation, they actually set it up as a general stock corporation, not a professional corp. You are aware that you have to have a professional nursing or medical corp to run a med spa in California, right? The company, I'm sure, told you that.
the company said that they could set me up for everything for $3,500 and that I could get launched in about 90 days and that they could give me really good pricing on products and that they would put all the paperwork together because they have a legal team who I've actually never spoken to. But nobody went over this information with me, so I don't I I thought the company was doing it correctly.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So, also
Do you
when
want
I
the
had
company's
not,
information?
yeah, we'll get that in a minute. I appreciate that. You're so hospitable. We're not here to get you in trouble. We're just here to ask a couple questions to you. So
Okay.
going back a sec, when I came in, you've got a wonderful logo for your business. I
Thank
really think,
you.
yeah, they did a really good job with that. But I noticed when I came in that there was no medical director listed on the establishment. Do you know anything about that? Did anybody talk to you about making sure that your signage had the medical director's name and your correct med spa's name on it?
Um, all I know is I paid $3,500 to launch my med spa and the company put everything together and said I didn't have anything to worry about. Nobody mentioned
Hmm.
um anything but launching my med spa and
Hmm.
I can fix that.
Okay, we appreciate that. We'll definitely come back to that.
Okay.
Um, so did they set up an LLC for you? Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, that's fair. And what about, did anyone ever talk to you about a fictitious name permit? Because typically with med spas, we see the ones that are in compliance, they have a medical corporation, right? Because we
Oh
did
yeah,
talk
I have
about
a fictitious business name.
fictitious. So do you mean a DBA or a fictitious business permit?
Yeah, a fictitious business name. You know, the one I
Yeah.
filed with the county, that one.
Ah, with the
Because I
county.
was
Well,
told that
that's
I have,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay, thank you for sharing
what's
that.
what's a fictitious name permit?
Okay. Very, very interesting. So, um, you pay your medical director, right? What does the medical director do for you? Do they come in and review your charts? Have they looked at and signed and dated your standardized procedures with you? Because as a nurse, you're required by board regulation and by statute to have to collaborate on them. So has your medical director done that with you? And if so, when?
Um, the company that I'm working with gave me standardized procedures and the medical director signed them and I signed them,
Okay.
but
Hmm.
don't have, I'm not able to show them to you because they're in a secure platform. But I can
Secure
find it,
platform.
I can get them and show them. So my medical director, he hasn't been here yet because I just opened,
Uh,
but we have I've spoken to him a few times and the company said they were taking care of everything.
oh, interesting. Tell me
Should I be
about
concerned?
um we'll get to that. That's a good question. So don't, like I said, I'm not here to get you in trouble. I'm just here to ask some questions to make sure that, that we just want to make sure that we get to the bottom of what's going on. We're
Okay.
not here to be
Well,
punitive. You can trust me. It's okay. I'm with the
no,
state.
thank you.
So tell me about your electronic. I'm assuming you have an electronic medical record, electronic health record, and don't chart on paper, being that it's 2024, right?
Right. So,
Okay.
the company I signed up with, they provide an electronic medical record and I get to enter all of my patient information into that.
Mhm.
It came with the $3,500 sign up fee.
Okay.
Um, I'm not really sure if I were to leave the company, if I could, you know, bring the patients that work in conjunction with me and the medical director, if, I could transfer that. I didn't really ask about that. I guess I would have to find out. And, you know, the electronic medical record, I believe, is owned by the company that I signed up with.
Interesting, interesting. So yeah, that's very interesting that you might not have access to those patient records, right? If something were to happen and you needed that for continuity of care, but that's okay. We're just asking
Oh,
questions for now. So you're a registered nurse and not a nurse practitioner, correct?
correct.
Okay, so thank you for that. My aunt was a nurse, so as a state investigator, I can certainly identify with you. That's just so fantastic. I have so much respect for nurses. Might even call me an honorary nurse, so thank you for that. So,
Oh, that's great.
thank you. Isn't that grand? So,
Mhm.
are you familiar with GFEs and what that means?
Yeah. I mean, I work with a platform that does
Hmm.
them,
Hmm.
and I sign in and they check off my patients,
Hmm.
and I make sure that it's done before the first treatment for
Hmm.
each patient, or if they're starting a new treatment, or if there's been an issue identified that they need to be assessed for. But it is a remote platform, and the company set me up with it.
Very interesting. So I'm glad that they did that. That was awfully nice of the company to do that. So if how when you do it through the telehealth, right? It's telehealth. That's what the cool kids are calling it nowadays, right? With the nurses.
Sure.
It's I'm not the most technologically savvy person in the world, but with the telehealth, if there's an issue that the client or patient, whatever you want to call them, uh, with the nomenclature there, how do you assess them, right? If the patient develops some cellulitis or psoriasis as a result, or maybe a rash or hives from any type of reaction to any type of dermatological or aesthetics or med spa type treatment, how does the person, the nurse practitioner, the PA, or the physician, how do they assess that? Is that you who does that? How does that happen via telehealth? I'm not familiar.
Well, if a patient received treatment and they came back for another treatment and had this issue, I would contact someone through the platform. It might not be the same provider who initially did the GFE, but it's someone who works with the company, and they set everything up for me. And I think everyone's been trained the same way.
That's good to know. Very reassuring. So, and I'm assuming that you get immediate answers if you follow up and message them through the platform, or how long can that typically take? Is it a few minutes, or is it the same day,
Um,
or how long is that?
it's same day, and um, they just review a questionnaire. They don't look at the
Mhm.
patient. So as long as I'm giving them the correct information, then it seems like it's been working great.
Interesting. And they're not under your malpractice insurance, right?
I don't know. I'd have to ask the company.
No, good. That's good. Yeah, that's important to know.